Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating and air, restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Good evening. It's Friday, November 11th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Amita Sharma, in for Maya Trabulsi. Today is Veterans Day, a chance to remember, salute, and show gratitude for those who have served in the armed forces. Video journalist Matt Bowler brings us the sights and sounds from a ceremony in Logan Heights.
Today, we honor every man and woman who has proudly worn the uniform of our armed services.
These are only 4 of probably 30 of Marines that got killed in Vietnam that we crossed paths. They're my buddies.
We have a list of names of veterans, so we keep adding on names on there.
Carmen Gonzalez, U.S. Army. Manuel Gonzalez, Combat Engineer. Joe Gonzalez, U.S. Army. All the Gonzalez brothers served in the military during World War II. Through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched. Our thanks to those who are spending the sacred day away from their families and friends, those deployed and deployed. Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Art Carrillo, U.S. Air Force. Gilbert Peralta, U.S. Air Corps.
Respect them, we thank them, we honor them, we are proud of them.
James Hudson, U.S. Navy, 2 Silver Stars and numerous medals for his bravery. World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. He was on 2 ships that were sunk. And the home of the brave.
And another event today pays tribute to service members who are no longer with us. The San Diego Veterans for Peace set up Hometown Arlington West Memorial on the front lawn of the USS Midway Museum. It honors 288 service members from Southern California who have died in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
And reading the names of the people that died and how young they are, you can hear it in the background. Visual and an experience where they can feel how much it costs every time we get involved in some conflict.
Meanwhile, at Arlington National Cemetery, Vice President Kamala Harris and Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff joined First Lady Dr. Jill Biden in paying their respects. The Vice President laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Transitioning to civilian life for veterans can come with a lot of anxiety, and there's a program at San Diego State University that tries to help them bridge that gap. KPBS SciTech reporter Thomas Fudge tells us about Troops to Engineers.
Jesus Samaniego Sanchez, his friends call him Sammy, spent 5 years in the Marine Corps working as an aircraft support technician. As the son of Mexican immigrants, he said serving his country meant a lot to him because of what America had given him.
The safety, being able to go to school, being able to go out at night without having to worry about anything. I'm very thankful for that, so I wanted to give back to my country.
In addition to serving his country, he had a second goal. That was finding a way to attend and afford college.
School's not cheap, so I enlisted to get some of the veteran benefits like the GI Bill, which I'm currently using right now. and very thankful for that too. So those are the two main reasons: to give back to my country and to be able to afford school.
A kid who grew up in National City, Sammy Samaniego chose to attend San Diego State and get an engineering degree. There, he found a group of people who wanted to help. They were called Troops to Engineers.
So this program is essentially a way to help veteran students bridge that gap and overcome those hurdles of transitioning from military, where most of these people have spent their adult lives, into a civilian career.
Joshua Imes, an Army veteran himself, is the program manager for Troops to Engineers.
Oftentimes these students feel like lone wolves. They're older, they have families, they're not on campus all the time. So for this program to be able to offer a sense of community and be able to bring these students together who have similar experiences helps them, with the learning process.
Why engineering? Imes says it's a growing profession and something veterans who have worked with military equipment can naturally fall into. Samaniego says becoming an electrical engineer was a natural step for him.
I like to fix things. I like to troubleshoot. I like to solve problems. So what's going to get me that next sense of a higher sense of accomplishment? And I decided, why, instead of fixing things, why not design them?
On this Veterans Day, Samaniego adds that when making it in the civilian world gets tough, look to your fellow veterans for help.
I would encourage them to pick up the cell phone and call their brothers and sisters, because it's a beautiful day to be alive today.
Thomas Fudge, KPBS News.
President Biden says it's more urgent than ever to increase commitments to fighting global warming. He made the comments today in a speech at the annual United Nations Climate Conference in Egypt. The president says new spending on clean energy initiatives mean the United States will meet its emissions targets by the year 2030. He also called for other nations to do more to fight climate change.
If we're going to win this fight, every major emitter nation needs to align with the 1.5 degrees. We can no longer plead ignorance to the consequences of our actions or continue to repeat our mistakes. Everyone has to keep accelerating efforts throughout this decisive decade.
The climate conference was the Democratic president's first stop on an overseas trip. He left for Cambodia for a meeting of Southeast Asian leaders. After that, it's on to Indonesia for a group of 20 summit meeting. The threat from what was once Hurricane Nicole is not over. As we get a better view of what's being called unprecedented damage along the eastern Florida coastline, Mike Valerio has the latest.
In the aftermath of what was once Hurricane Nicole, stunning scenes of dream homes collapsed onto the beach below. Some swept far out to sea.
I don't know. Honestly, just kind of shocked. So, still haven't really processed it.
At least 5 are dead, with police in Cocoa, Florida confirming one man lost his life after first responders tried to rescue him here. The man and his wife on their battered yacht during the height of the storm. The path of destruction is sweeping. Homes are seen teetering, and some seawalls that started washing away during Hurricane Ian gave way during Nicole.
I was hoping it would be a little bit better of a sight. I was hoping that just the 2 back bedrooms fell this morning, but it tore out the living room walls and the ceiling.
About 50 beachfront buildings, including 24 condos and hotels, are now deemed unsafe in the Daytona Beach area. The county manager saying the structural damage along the coastline is unprecedented. Homeowners dazed at the destruction.
It's just, it just almost doesn't seem real to see all this, even though it's a possibility living here.
After Nicole became a tropical depression, tornado watches extended from the Carolinas into Virginia. This as Florida assesses the remaining risk from this rare November storm. Mike Valerio, KPBS News.
COVID-19 hospitalizations in San Diego County rose slightly as health officials urged everyone to get vaccinated. Today, the number of people hospitalized with a coronavirus infection increased by 3 people to 156. Overall, infections are also up from around 1,700 cases last week to more than 2,000 this week. County health officials are urging everyone to get flu and booster shots now, since they take 2 weeks to become fully effective, and Thanksgiving is just around the corner. A huge annual turkey giveaway is set for tomorrow in Southeast San Diego. KPBS reporter Melissa May says attendees can expect to get more than just a turkey.
1,000 turkeys are ready to go to the 79th Assembly District annual turkey giveaway and health fair on Saturday.
It was so important this year because this has been a tough year for families.
Assemblymember Dr. Akilah Weber is hosting the event, which started by her mother, Dr. Shirley Weber.
She started doing this basically to give back to the community and help families during holiday time.
Angela DeJoseph works for Weber as a senior field representative.
We know that with inflation and the cost of groceries being sky high, it was hard for a lot of families, and especially around holiday times.
This event is held in partnership with the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA and the San Diego Food Bank. Casey Castillo is the food bank's CEO.
Well, this is a critical time for the families that we serve, and we're so grateful for our amazing community partners that allow us and help us provide so many turkeys out in the community during Thanksgiving.
Castillo says the centerpiece of the Thanksgiving meal comes at a high cost this year.
The cost of turkeys has substantially gone up, large part because of the avian flu. There's a shortage of turkeys, and we saw some increases, 10, 15, up to 20% or more, depending on when we were looking at purchasing them. Right now, the average cost of a turkey is about $30.
The turkeys will be given away first come, first serve, along with more than just trimmings.
Fresh produce and pantry stables, so you'll have lots of foods and fixings to go along with your turkey dinner and carry you through the rest of the next couple months.
And this year's event also includes a health fair.
We have 40 vendors, and that means we have your blood sugar checked, your blood pressure checked, your kidneys checked, and we've got a workout station, and we've got gyms there to get your exercise on. We will be doing free mammograms on site. Also, we have an eye clinic for children. So we have a truck where children can get their eyes examined, and if necessary, they will be getting free glasses.
There will also be information booths on site to help people sign up for CalFresh and Covered California. Flu and COVID-19 vaccines will also be available. The event is taking place at the Jackie Robinson YMCA from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday. People can start lining up as early as 9 a.m. Melissa May, KPBS News.
The latest inflation report shows some improvement, but food costs remain stubbornly high. SDSU's Mira Kopik tells us what that means for those planning a Thanksgiving meal in the Friday Business Report.
We talked about on Halloween candy. The Halloween candy was up 13% over last year. Consumers are going to be facing roughly 13.5% increase in their Thanksgiving meal cost. Last year, to feed a family of 10, the standard dinner cost about $53. And so that $53 is going to increase to over $60 per household. Another thing in the food space that's been very difficult has been weather-related issues, especially droughts in areas that grow a lot of key crops in the country. The second one, the avian flu this year, which decimated chicken and turkey herds throughout the country. So these factors are outside of our control, but couple that with increased demand and prices are going to go up. The smart ones are shopping the deals, although there won't be as many discounts that we've seen in the past. There are retailers out there that are going to offer values where consumers can hold the line on their costs for Thanksgiving in 2022.
The storm that swept through California earlier this week was good for business. Ski resorts in the Sierras are opening this weekend thanks to the recent snowfall and temperatures staying cold enough to make snow. 3 resorts in the Lake Tahoe area opened today, and 3 more will open tomorrow. Last year, they didn't open until mid-December.
Let's start with those weather headlines. If you've been enjoying the cool weather, you're probably going to like what you see here. Fair and cool weather continues as we wrap up our week and head into the weekend. Looking ahead to next week, could have some pretty gusty wind on Wednesday, so plan for a windy Wednesday. And then temperatures are looking to stay below average as we make our way into next week, so the cool air sticking around. Looking at where temperatures go tonight, Oceanside, you're back to 39. San Diego drops to 49. Chula Vista down to 47. Looking at Borrego Springs, about 40, and Mount Laguna dropping to 34. As we look ahead to our Saturday, high pressure is going to be really in charge out to the Four Corners. That's going to bring dry and cool weather, and we'll see that dry and cool weather, but there is a storm system to our north here that's going to be sending some showers and even those snow showers into some of the higher elevations, some of the mountains throughout California and into Nevada. Otherwise, that breeze really along the coast kicking up on Saturday. Looking at our temperatures with a sunny sky, Borrego Springs 73, Mount Laguna 55 for our Saturday, and then San Diego 68, Oceanside making it to 68 degrees. Then as we head into Sunday, that storm continues to shift to the east, but not a whole lot of moisture with it, so I think we'll stay mainly dry. There will be some breezy conditions. Otherwise, temperatures are still staying below average through the weekend. Here's what that looks like on your 5-day outlook for the coast. We're having upper 60s for Saturday, mid-60s Sunday, back to the upper 60s Monday, cooling off Tuesday, and then 70 with sunshine on Wednesday. Inland valleys staying into the 70s on Saturday, but then we'll see a stretch of 60s Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday before back to the 70s on Wednesday. And your mountain forecast, we'll see some 40s slipped in with some of those 50s. So Sunday will be a cool one, Tuesday another cool one, and then in the desert we stay pretty consistent with those low 70s before rebounding to 76 next Wednesday. For KPBS News, I'm Ariella Scalise.
It's taking days to figure out which party will control Congress for the next 2 years. As expected, the closest local race is in the 49th district. KPBS reporter Matt Hoffman is joining us now. Matt, do we have an update on this race?
We do, Amitha, as San Diegans could be helping decide the balance of power in Congress. Now, these results are hot off the press. We know the 49th covers both Orange and San Diego counties, and as I mentioned, we just got some numbers here into our newsroom. Now, I want to show you Brian Marriott sitting at 48% to Mike Levin's 52%. Now, this is close, but maybe not as close as some analysts thought. President Joe Biden was just in town stumping for Levin, and you have to wonder if that had any impact. We spoke with a researcher earlier who's been tracking results nationwide for the midterms. He says that younger voters are continuing to participate more, and with more estimates putting voter turnout for Gen Z at around 27%.
So they have a bigger voice, number one. The other change, and maybe even bigger change in some sense, is that younger voters have become more democratic over time. So on Tuesday, that sort of 18 to 29-year-old age bracket, 63% of them voted for Democratic candidates at the House level.
And another race that we're closely watching is the one for Sheriff. Under Sheriff Kelly Martinez still leading over John Hemmerling. But John Hemmerling, the Republican, he's not backing down. Yesterday, he gave us this statement saying that he wants to see when more ballots are coming in before he makes any decision about conceding. And we know that there's still about 325,000 ballots outstanding. It's going to take some time for all these tight races to be decided. Basically, local election officials are telling me they hope to have a good idea of some of these contests within the next week or so. And keep in mind, none of these results are official until they're certified in December. Amitha, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you for that report, Matt. We will update the KPBS Voter Hub with the latest results as they're reported by the state and county. We also have all of our coverage from this election cycle at kpbs.org.
I'm Judy Woodruff. Tonight on the NewsHour, the latest on the midterm election results and what led to a record number of wins by LGBTQ candidates. Coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
The San Diego Fleet Week Veterans Day Boat Parade set sail on San Diego Bay. The boat started at Shelter Island, cruising past Harbor Island, the Embarcadero, and across the bay to Coronado. Private boats joined a tall ship as well as Coast Guard vessels in the parade. As we celebrate this day, we're taking a closer look at the veterans who need our help, those who defended us, our freedoms, but have no home to call their own. Mike Valerio spoke with the Secretary of Veterans Affairs and volunteers.
Good morning. Are you a veteran?
From tent to tent in the nation's capital, in the shadow of the grandeur of Union Station.
No days wasted doing this job. No days wasted.
Navy veteran Hector Lugo, who was once homeless himself, has a mission, searching for fellow vets who survive without a home.
What branch of service have you served in?
He finds one barely moving on the granite, foot outstretched as the world walks by.
You know, I do have tears when I talk about them, when I'm talking to people who don't understand.
The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs says it's on track to meet its goal of housing 38,000 veterans this calendar year.
Our outreach team goes out and engages veterans. We also provide supportive housing services.
Ilana Marmon and Sharon Haddock explain there's a greater emphasis now on giving homeless vets a place to live first, rather than waiting for long-term treatment to be finished for possible substance abuse or mental health issues.
The old school was veterans had to, be ready for housing. They had to be drug-free. With Housing First, we take you. If you're ready for housing, we get you into housing.
Getting the number of homeless vets down to zero is the job of Veterans Affairs Secretary Dennis McDonough.
So, Mr. Secretary, what do you think you've done differently to bring that number down?
We aggressively work to identify by name our homeless veterans. Not only do we identify them by name, but we find out what it is that ails them and why are they in the situation that they find themselves.
McDonough points to more money from Congress, funds helping to finish new homes for veterans like these studios and one-bedroom apartments at the VA in West Los Angeles.
I think that the numbers, the amount of assistance that Congress has dedicated to this challenge and that local and state governments have dedicated to this challenge, there's no question about that.
The message from the VA and from formerly homeless vets like Hector.
I'm not going to quit on you because when you were out there, you were serving our country, you didn't quit on us.
Mike Valerio, KPBS News.
The Army and Navy Academy for Boys in Carlsbad has been open for over 100 years, but they have recently celebrated a first. KPBS North County reporter Tanya Thorne introduces us to the first woman to lead the all-boys school.
For 112 years, the Army and Navy Academy in Carlsbad has housed thousands of cadets. But throughout the Academy's long history, a woman has never been president. Until retired U.S. Army Major General Peggy Combs took on the job.
I just believe that the school is definitely moving towards the future. It has nothing to do with, like I said, of my gender. It's just the experience that I bring to the school in character, leader development, and just training and education.
Combs served in the Army for over 30 years, is a two-star general, and has worked with thousands of ROTC students nationwide. The opportunity to work with the boys at the Army and Navy Academy took her out of retirement in Florida and brought her to Carlsbad.
The boys they are just, first of all, they're very dedicated, to being great, and that's exciting to see. And all of the potential that's on this campus, it's just wonderful.
Since her arrival, Combs said students and staff have welcomed her with open arms. David Rohr is a cadet captain at the Academy.
She's incredibly interactive with all of the students. Having a one-on-one with her was probably the most eye-opening thing for me because I had a chance to really see her experience and see how well she wants the kids to do.
The boarding school houses boys from 7th to 12th grade and prepares them for college. But Combs says, contrary to belief, The academy goes beyond the military school label.
You know, most people when they think of military schools think of, you know, maybe Full Metal Jacket or some tearing people down to build them up. That's not what we do here. It is a element of structure and all of that kind of comes together.
De La Proto is a senior and battalion commander.
Huge impact on me because of discipline. They have changed me, the way I operate every single day. Focus in school and actually do my work because you have to do it.
It's Sullivan Adams' last year at the academy. He's currently a command sergeant major. He says the school helped him discover what he wants to do next in life.
To go to the University of Wyoming to study in astrophysics or perhaps go to the Naval Academy.
Really?
I have been very interested in leadership and in physics, so maybe a combination of the two.
While Combs has only held the role for a few weeks, she's excited about what's to come.
Our boys are our future, and to have just a small role in impacting the future, you know, of our great nation, one boy at a time, I just think is pretty special.
Tanya Thorne, KPBS News.
2 San Diego County restaurants are being added to the Michelin Guide's list for California. One is Kingfisher in Golden Hill. It's a French-influenced Vietnamese restaurant. Our media partner 10 News spoke with chef Jonathan Bautista. He said there's one dish at his restaurant that sells out every night.
It's our dry-aged duck, so we age it from 14 to 21 days before it goes to the plate. So it's a 20-day process prior to somebody eating it. So due to the limited space, that's one of the dishes that people go crazy for.
The other restaurant to receive recognition is Valle in Oceanside. It offers oceanfront views with authentic northern Mexican food. And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thank you for joining us and have a great evening.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating and air, restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley. And by the following: and by viewers like you. Thank you.